So good morning, and it is a grand morning out here. It is absolutely beautiful. The sun's shining, it's warm, can't complain. It's also a good day to correct a problem that we're having, because we have a problem, and it's kind of a pretty significant problem. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that problem in a little bit, but right now we've got to get our animals fed. So we got to get the cows fed, and we got to take care of the baby chicks and the baby ducks. So that's what we're going to do first, and then we'll have to take care of this problem that we've got. finished my planting my herb garden this morning, so I wanted to just kind of show it to you a little bit. I've got to weed this a little bit. This is grass. But I planted these last year, and I thought these were going to be chives. Well, they are chives. But these are Chinese chives. So they're flat. You can eat these. They're really good. I cut these off, and I will put these in our stir fries. And they just add a little bit of extra flavor to them. They're really good. So, yeah, if you're going to get chives, make sure if you want onion chives, make sure you look at the label and make sure they are onion chives. But anyway, these are doing really good. So we eat them. They're still usable, so they're not going to waste. So the next tire I have here, this is my spearmint. This came from one little plant, and as you can see, it has spread over into the entire tire. And I harvest that quite a bit. I need to weed it too. Never ending. But yeah, I use this in teas. I've been trying to find some other uses for it besides just tea. So I may do more with it this year than what I've normally done. So the next plant that I have this one. Actually, I think there's a small one under there. Yeah, there's a small one under there. This is sweet marjoram. This is one that I grew last year to start experimenting with. It's a little different, but we've really enjoyed it. To me, when I pick it, it smells like pine trees a little bit. So when I dehydrate it, my house kind of smells like pine trees to me. But I use this in my homemade Italian seasoning. That's one of the ingredients in that. And then next, I have parsley. These will perk back up after they get done being whiny babies about being transplanted. So once that transplant shock wears off, they'll get up and stand at attention, I guess. So, and then the next one I have here is dill. I planted this one, and this one, and the rest of it. Just a minute. Hey, can you take that wagon and pull it up by the boys? Don't do anything with it, just pull it up there. So this is, so next year I don't think I'm going to plant anything. I'm just going to let it reseed itself because I've got all of this is reseeded. So I gotta weed it. Just never ending with the weeds. And then next I have oregano. And this is starting to get nice and big again. And then I put in some little ones. I had some extra ones. So I just went ahead and planted them. So we'll have a little bit extra. I'm hoping this whole tire will be empty, will be filled with oregano. And then the next one is my lemon thyme. I don't grow regular thyme. I prefer this lemon thyme. In fact, if you come out here and just rub your hand over it, it just releases its scent. Oh, yeah, it smells so good. This is really one of my favorite herbs. Not only is it very aromatic, but it is really delicious too. I actually need to come out here and start harvesting some of this and getting it into the dehydrator so I can start putting it up for all our soups and other things that we put this in. And then the next one that I have here is my cilantro. I need to come out here. I'm not sure if that's... no, I think those are still leaves. But I want to come out here and get this cut off and start dehydrating this. Well, actually, I'll probably freeze this. I don't really like the taste or flavor of the dehydrated cilantro I did, but the frozen stuff was really good. So I'll just put this in the freezer. And this is all stuff that reseeded, so I did not plant any cilantro this year. This is just some from that reseeded itself. And then the next thing I have here is this is sage. This is the second year on this. I planted this last year, and So this is coming back. I have this. I don't think this is sage. I wasn't sure at first because it almost looks like it's a part of the plant, but I don't think it is. So probably later I'll pull that out because it looks a lot different than the sage plants. I hear the frogs. I don't know if you can hear them on the camera or not. So that's my sage. I'm wanting to get some of this dehydrated again. I'm running out of that as well. And then over here, this is another parsley. This is Hamburg parsley. I grew this last year, and I did not realize that there was like two different ones. This one will grow a taproot similar to like a carrot or a parsnip, that sort of root vegetable. It looks very much like a parsnip. They're really good, so I'm planting those again this year, and hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of roots out of those. I'm not sure if I'm going to just eat those when we get them, or if I might do something with them so we can have them throughout the year. I don't know yet, but we're going to have some nice parsley. This will also, you can eat the greens as well on this one, not just the roots. So that's another option. So I'm going to have lots of parsley. I use a lot of parsley. And then this is my basil. I have my regular Genovese basil that I use. And then this is just an opal basil. And this year I am going to dehydrate them and just mix them all together. So I'm going to have like a purpley green mix of basil dehydrated. So that is what I am going to be doing this year. And you really can't tell a huge difference in flavor, but there is a little bit. I just love basil. It smells good too. This is cinnamon basil. So this is my cinnamon basil tire. Then those ones, these almost look like, they get one more set of leaves and I'll start topping those off. You won't get a huge harvest doing that. But with basil, once they get like their third set of leaves, maybe like their fourth, if you take off the tops of that, what they will do is they will branch out and bush out. So instead of having a tall plant, you'll have a bushier plant and get more basil. So that's what I like to do, is about when they get their fourth set of leaves, just top that off, and then they'll bush out for me, and I'll have a lot more, and then I can get a lot more. I'm hoping to make pesto this year and put it in the freezer. Last year I just didn't have enough basil to do that, so this year that's on my list. And then my last tire is lavender. This one I planted last year, and it looks like it's coming back. I actually just took out a whole bunch of stinging nettle that was in there with it. So it looks kind of sad a little bit. But now that I've got that horrible stinging nettle out of there, I'm hoping it'll just take off. And then I did plant some little ones that I started from seed. So this should hopefully become a pretty full lavender bed. So I'm slowly getting things put in, but that's my herb garden. So earlier in the video, I mentioned that we have a problem, and we're going to be working on correcting that problem today. I don't know if you can see behind me or not, but this is our garden. This is our main garden. This is where I keep things like our sweet corn, our tomatoes, our beans, peppers, some things like that, okra, those kind of things, the things I can't plant in the back because the deer and the rabbit won't stay out of them, and they will eat those things. So we've got our garden here. We have it fenced. We have it fenced in. Usually, this fence is a pretty good thing to keep things out. Every once in a while, we'll get a rabbit that'll get in there, and we'll have to put some logs across the bottom of the fence, but for the most part it's been pretty good. So the problem is we have some free range chickens, and hopefully this wind is not being an issue. Sorry. There was a car driving by really slow, and I wasn't sure what was going on with that. But anyway, let's see. Let's see if I can find some place that's not quite as windy. Maybe if I do it like this. So hopefully you can hear me. So we have our free range chickens, and normally if I keep the gate closed on this, they don't get in either. Well, this year they have been brats, and he's protesting. And they have gotten so they're flying over our fence. That's a problem. If I've got tomatoes in here, the last thing I want is those chickens eating my tomatoes. We can a lot of tomatoes, and if they peck a hole in one, that pretty much ruins my tomatoes. So we are going to clip wings today. That's just something that's going to have to be done. Another thing that we're going to do that will help deter them from coming in the garden is we are going to put down some woven weed fabric. And they don't really like that. They can't really dig in it. It's like a plastic woven sheet cloth thing that you put on, and they don't really care for that. So that will also help with deterring them from in here. Once we get that laid, they won't get in here as much until they can see those red tomatoes, and then they usually decide that, well, that black fabric is worth facing and getting into. So that is what we're going to be doing today, is we are going to be clipping a wing on our chickens. We're going to see how many we can catch. We may have to get some as they're roosting, but we're going to see if we can get the majority of them. That's the pain about having free-range chickens. It's just something to have to deal with, but we're wanting to get the garden in pretty soon, and I don't need them in there digging up my seeds. So that's the other thing, is if they've got fresh, dug up dirt or something, they'll kick up the seeds or the plants, the baby plants, to get to whatever they can find in that freshly dug earth. So they're just doing what chickens do. So we just have to be smarter and know how to manage that and take care of that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So this isn't really going to be too much of a educational video, just life on the homestead. That's something we have to deal with, and we'll take care of that. I've got a cat down here. So anyway, that is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go get some treats for them to make it easier to catch them. They're all down here. Let me see if I can get them. I've got a whole stack of them right there. They've dug a little hole right in there where they dust bathe, and yeah, you can see they're fighting over who gets to go in the dust bath. Yeah. Silly birds. Well, they're not going to be happy with us, but I'm going to go get a treat, and we'll get this show started. Well, we didn't get them all, but we got most of them. There's a couple of roosters that we weren't able to get, but we can always get them later when they're roosting, so that's not an issue, and we know which ones they are, so we can get them when they're roosting. They're not happy exactly to be manhandled and a haircut. So if you're wondering, no, that doesn't hurt them. It's kind of like, it is like getting a haircut. The feathers, they don't feel it. They just aren't happy to be handled. They don't mind being with us, but they don't really like being picked up, which isn't a big deal to me. But catching them can be kind of interesting. So yeah, we'll do that later. And if you're ever in a jam like that where you need to clip a wing on a chicken because they're being mischievous, only clip one. Now sometimes they can learn to fly with even just one wing clipped, but if you clip both, they have a tendency of learning how to fly even with two wings clipped. So it's actually better to just do one, and it kind of makes them off balanced. So that's what we did. So hopefully we won't see them flying over into the garden, and they'll learn that they can't do that. It's one of those things that we almost have to do every year, is reteach them that that's not their place. But I've also got some things that I want to plan on doing this year. Like I said, they don't like the woven ground cover, so we're going to put that down again this year. In fact, if it ever stops being so windy, now that it's time to plant, it seems like it's been windy every day. So, of course. But, yeah, that'll do that. And also thinking I have some extra tomato plants. So I'm actually thinking of making them a chicken garden so they can have their own tomatoes and eat those to their heart's content and stay out of ours. And they can go eat whatever they want. So anyway, I hope this was a good video and you really liked it. If you know somebody who might enjoy watching us catch chickens and everything, share this video on all your social media. That would help us out. Like it, so tell Facebook that this is a good video to share with other people and have them be able to see. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Become part of our family. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.